The number one thing you can do in this game is to use props in ways they were not intended to be used. After that, the things you can make are only limited to your imagination. Hey everyone, this is Syntax, and today I'm going to be going over some of the best props to use for character designs, whether it's monsters, just normal people, women, men, all the above. So yeah, let's just get into it. Now, there are a number of base props you can choose from for arms and legs and limbs and all that good stuff, but I'm just going to go over each area of the body and some of the best props that I've used and other map creators have used to make their characters. First and foremost, I want to talk about this prop from the Indoor Residential Prop Gallery. Now, at surface level, this prop doesn't look like much, but if you know who creators are like Sunday CW, this is almost entirely what he makes his characters out of. I'm on one of Sunday CW's most popular maps, House of Mannequins, and if you look, you can tell that it actually looks like a mannequin, and this prop makes up his head, his arms, and his legs. I mean, just looking at this guy, you can tell he's a mannequin, and 90% of him is made of this little water holder thing. So yeah, if you need a little inspiration for character design, House of Mannequins is the map to go to. There's the code up there, but let's look at more designs. Staying on the topic of arms and legs, funnily enough, the second best prop for arms and legs is actually in the exact same gallery directly next to it. That's right, this little teapot with just a little bit of resizing and reshaping, placing them correctly on a person's body, they actually do look like arms and legs. As you can see, I have his legs crossed right there, and his arms holding that book, and that other arm is holding a pencil. By the way, I'm in a map I haven't released yet, so I guess this is a sneak peek. The only downside to this design, I would say, is those little bars that stick out from his legs, the little handle on the teapot. That's probably the only flaw, which is why you might want to use the other design, but they are really good for arms and legs. Now, if the light brightness in your map is very minimal, what you use for a body can actually vary quite drastically, but if your brightness is like above 20% and you're actually going to be close to the characters, you're going to want to use these next couple designs. I didn't actually realize how much we were going to be in the Indoor Residential Prop Gallery for this video, but the next best things to use for mainly bodies and arms, not so much legs and maybe a neck, is this piece right here. Now, the top of it actually makes really good looking white eyes, but when you take it and stretch it out like this, it actually looks like a slimmed out rounded body. As you can see, if I just highlight some of the pieces here, you can see those are her forearms, those are the arms coming down from their shoulder area. I kind of put two bottles inside one another just to kind of fade out the whiteness. As you can see, it's actually pretty white at the tip right there. I made this prop super wide so it actually looked like she had a body, and it actually slims out to a really slim waist. And I also copied it and put it just on top right there, as you can see, and it actually makes a really good looking body with a pair of arms. The toughest challenge you're going to face if you're just going into character design is actually making the characters look natural and make them look like they're doing human tasks, because it can be tough to position these props perfectly just to make them look like they're carrying out a super simple task like washing the dishes. Let's say, however, that you're not building a woman and you're still getting up close and personal with these characters. Well, the next best thing for a guy body can actually be found in the Military Props Gallery. One of my favorite pieces is actually this briefcase right here. As you can see, in its normal state, it's just, well, it's a briefcase. That's pretty much it. However, if you take it, flip it on its side, and stretch it a little bit and put them back to back like I did here, it actually starts to look a little bit like the body of a suit, or the chest area of a suit. Right now I'm super up close and personal, but as you can see, that's exactly what this guy's body is made of. Now, there are a couple of primitive shapes because me and my friend were really trying to nail the suit look, but at its base value, when you stretch it out, it does genuinely look like a black shirt or the start to a suit, and it looks really good. Jumping back to our woman here, let's say you don't want to use that little water holder from the Indoor Residential Prop Gallery for a head. You can actually just use a primitive shape. As you can see, I have the primitive shape right here. It's set to beige for the color, and it actually looks kind of nice. Now, on top of her head, which is the hair, I really don't want to get into hair. Hair is a whole other complicated mess. If you scroll a little bit down in the Wild West Prop Gallery, you'll actually find this tumbleweed, and if you shrink it all the way down and place it and rotate it around a NPC's head, it actually does start to kind of look like afro-ish or curly hair. In all honesty, it's a bit of a stretch, but it's better than the next option I'm about to show you. If you bend, stretch, and shape this piece from the Snowman Prop Gallery, you can make it look like certain characters have black hair from an angle, but if you do a 360, you can see that it is ugly. ugly is the best word for it. As you can see, I used the same head, and I actually used Sunday's design for the body. Shout out to Sunday, he's a god. The arms are actually back-to-back bottles from the Wild West prop gallery, but I wouldn't suggest this because they don't look great, and there are better options. I just went for shiny arms because she had a shiny body. Now, let's say you're building a woman and you don't want your character to have any legs at all. Well, this vase right here actually makes for a really good-looking dress. As you can see, when I grow the height a little bit and thin it out, it genuinely looks like she's wearing a dress. If you want your character to sit down, you can just take one vase, extend it out from the chair, and then take a second vase and extend it out from the end of that first vase, and boom, looks like they're sitting down. Now, when you turn off the lights, and depending on how large your character is, you get a little bit more flexibility. For any really detailed builds, of course, there's always the primitive shape gallery, but everybody knows about that. So for creatures that are all white and are meant to look kind of bony, the Monster Skull large prefab is actually really good for this. Now, going into the prefab and grabbing the teeth is actually not what you want to do. You want to take the time to actually place it out, so we'll place the entire skull and take those teeth and shrink them down. Because let's be honest, that tooth is way too small to design anything. I mean, if you don't even want your character to have a face, you can do like I did and use a Fortilla screen. It's got some animation and it looks like a person. I also used shovels for cupped hands, but I'm sure you could do better, in all honesty. If you're looking to put footwear on your characters, I would say this piece right here and this piece right here are really solid options. As you can see, this is the first piece I showed you. It genuinely looks like he's wearing shoes, so yeah, that's a nice touch. Going back to arms and legs, if you use this piece right here, it could make really good looking arms, or it could make good looking antlers. If you're building a deer, it has really good uses. However, I don't want to see any of you using these custom arms unless they're to make really abstract shapes, because that's just lazy. Design your own arms, people. In all honesty, with enough reshaping, you could probably use any prop you wanted, but that is just a list of some of my favorite props that I have used in the past and that I'm using right now. Indoor residential, outdoor residential, and snowman is probably where you're going to get most of your things for these character designs, but in all honesty, just be creative, use whatever you want, come up with your own designs. I hope this video maybe inspired you a little bit. I hope this video helped you out, and yeah, this has been Syntax. Later.